in our 29th year. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
It is a celebration of family, of youth, and of dreams, and it is the largest crowd in recent years, estimated at 40,000, lining the hillsides of north central Pennsylvania. They've come for the championship game of the Little League World Series. Powerful Kaohsiung of Chinese Taipei taking on Trumbull, Connecticut, a small town just outside of Bridgeport. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig, along with Jim Palmer, a graduate of Beverly Hills Little League, and Mike Adamley, a graduate of the Akron Little League. We're here today for live coverage of the 1989 Little League World Series, celebrating 50 years of Little League baseball. When 1939 began, Humphrey Bogart had never heard of Casablanca. There had never been a sporting event on television, and no one had played Little League baseball. But as time went by, Humphrey Bogart eventually went to Morocco. Television and sports are synonymous today, and the word of Little League baseball has spread to 33 countries. 6 weeks ago, some 2.5 million kids concluded seasonal play and entered regional competition, and after 12,000 games, 7,000 teams are down to 2. And such is the situation today as the United States and Trumbull, Connecticut tries to break a string of Far Eastern teams that goes back to 1983. Trumbull, Connecticut, in defeating Davenport, Iowa in a one-run game, and San Pedro, California, has shown that they can take advantage of mistakes, as shown here. Their pitcher today, Chris Drury, can hit, and he'll be an important man in today's game, no doubt. Andy Paul, the big right fielder, was a winning pitcher, and he could be a factor too. Chinese Taipei has power. They eliminated Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, and then got by Maracaibo, Venezuela. They do the little things. They'll steal signs, and they'll show fundamentals in the infield well beyond their years. They truly are the favorite in today's game. As for Trumbull, Connecticut, they come in having only lost one game in regional competition, and they come in emulating the spirit of their coach, an insurance salesman from Trumbull. His name is Tom Gallo, who's down on the field with Jim Palmer. Jim?
Thank you, Al. Tom, go back to April, if you will, and tell us, we know everybody'd like to be here as a manager of Little League, but what kind of values do you try to instill in your players?
Well, we worked hard and try to stress teamwork. One thing we did differently this year than last when I coached is we try to throw a lot of fun in with the hard work. We took them to see Batman one night. We had swimming pool parties. We had watermelon after practice. We did all kinds of things to try to keep the kids loose.
Your advice to your team today?
Hit the ball like we haven't hit in the last 2 games.
An honest question. Can you win? Can you win?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We've played some great ball coming into this tournament. We've played some great defensive ball and had some good pitching here. The only thing we've lacked is the hitting, and I'm hoping today we're going to break out of it and get those hits.
Okay, best of luck. Back to you, Al.
All right, Jim, there are banners all over town in Trumbull on this day that celebrates also 11 and 12-year-olds in sports. But this week at the Little League World Series has also seen 2 women grab the headlines. One of them is younger than the other. She's 12-year-old Victoria Brucker from San Pedro, California. She played first base and batted cleanup. The second woman ever to play in the Little League World Series, but the first to ever get a hit. She had her share of notoriety this week. It was also a time when a woman would finally umpire in the Little League World Series, Betty Speziali. The both of them are now with Mike Adamley.
Betty Speziali and Victoria Brucker have been the center of media attention all week long here in Williamsport. Betty will be today's second base umpire. Betty, has all the net recognition you've received been a good thing or kind of a nuisance?
Well, it hasn't been too bad here. It's before and after the game, but not during the game. So as long as it doesn't interfere with the game, I'll take it in stride. It's been
You know, it's tough enough to be an umpire without having every single call being scrutinized. Have your male counterparts been supportive?
They sure have. They've been real good. It makes you feel a lot more comfortable when the guys out there are supporting everything that you're doing too. And they've been great, and I thank them all for sticking behind me with it.
When did you get started, and do you have any aspirations to be a major league umpire?
I've been umpiring for 15 years. The major league would be nice, but I have other responsibilities that I don't think would really put the major leagues in my future. Never know, though.
Well, Victoria, I know you and your San Pedro teammates would much rather prefer to be playing in today's championship game, but you still had a great season and a great week. What is the week like here in Williamsport meant to you?
It was fun and exciting, and we had a great time being here.
How far do you want to take your baseball career? What's beyond Little League?
I just want to keep playing as far as I can go and won't let anybody stop me.
I know you've been asked this before, but do you have any advice for other female baseball players?
I tell them if they wanted to play baseball, that just stick with what they want to do and don't let anybody else tell them that they shouldn't play or not and do what they don't want to do.
Victoria, very sound advice. Thank you, Betty, for joining us. Congratulations on your milestones. Al?
The man on the mound for Chinese Taipei, winners of 13 championships and 15 appearances, is Li Qin-chi. And the man who feels the pressure is Chris Drury from Trumbull, Connecticut. The Little League World Series tradition began in 1963. Today it continues. Here is the starting batting order from the team for Chinese Taipei. Their big man at first base, Chu Ming-lan. The left fielder is Tseng Tsing-lung. On the mound, having pitched only one game in the tournament so far, Li Qin-chi. The second baseman, Ye Chin-lung. Behind the plate, a very strong arm, Su Chi-hao. The shortstop is Chang Chi-yi. And the third baseman, his first appearance in the World Series and in the tournament, Wang Kun-yao. Chen Quan-lung is the center fielder, and around and right is Wang Qin-chi. Defense for Trumbull, Connecticut. In left field, an Australian, Dan McGrath. Matt Bastura, the backup pitcher at center, and Andy Paul, who pitched yesterday, around and right. The infield, little Jason Hairston, Dan Brown at short, the manager's son, Dave Galla, at second, Ken Martin around at first. And the battery is Chris Drury, a hockey player, and Cody Lee, who comes in from playing right field yesterday. The umpires on the field for this Little League World Series include Betty Spezialy, the first woman to ever umpire the Little League World Series, and she will be around at second base. Mario Garrido will be behind home plate. At first, Benito Van den Biesen from Aruba in the Caribbean. Russ Sherwood at third, Jerry Frankfurt at left field, and in right field, Dwayne Tuggle. Al Trautwig along with Jim Palmer. Mike Adamle is also here. Little League graduates all as we get set to begin the Little League World Series that celebrates 50 years of Little League baseball.
No, the story could be Chris Drury. You talked about him being part of the national team on the hockey championship 14 and under. They like his physical and mental makeup, and that's very important. They say he will bend, but he won't break. He throws a lot of off-speed stuff. He could be successful.
Ball is outside as Chu Ming-lan, 2 for 4 in the World Series with 5 runs scored and 4 RBIs at 5'8", 175. He's a big one. Fly ball, high right field. Andy Paul, one away. That's a big out.
And it is, Al, and I think it's a harbinger of some things to come as you look at the dimensions around Alameda Stadium. It's 204 to all dimensions. A lot of home runs to center field, right center here, and you can look at the other things, natural grass, and it's a hard natural grass. They haven't had much rain. Shower on Wednesday, 60 feet to first and 46 feet from the pitcher's rubber to home plate.
Drury sends it to Tseng Tsing-lung, 2 away. And this highly partisan crowd, not only from Trumbull, Connecticut, but from all the other American regions, is loud and happy for now, 2 away.
And they're happy mainly because they have more outs before the other team has scored than in the last 5 years, as you look at Tom Galla.
2 away as Li Qin-chi steps to the plate. He will be the man on the mound for Chinese Taipei. As I mentioned earlier, the last American victory in the Little League World Series was by Marietta, Georgia in '83. Low and away. Drury, by the way, Jim was talking about yesterday to me that he enjoys throwing a change curve. Now we'll get to see how he uses it.
A change up, also a knuckleball. So, and I'll tell you what, you know, you don't usually suggest that youngsters throw all those pitches, but here's a kid that does play hockey, and he's able to get him over. And I tell you what, if there was one scouting report that you would say if you're going to beat the Far East, it's throw a lot of slow stuff, and he can do it. We'll see if he's able to do it today.
One pitcher to the other. That's 2 low and away. Li Qin-chi hit a 3-run home run in the semifinals. That was the win over Maracaibo, Venezuela. He is the son of a truck driver and is one of the more conservative and quiet members of the team and a good student. High and tight, 3-0. Now we get to the point, Jim, where we have to talk about with Chinese Taipei and the relationship to Trumbull, Connecticut. Very few mistakes. And if you do allow one, try to keep your emotions under control so that it doesn't get out of hand, which can happen quickly at the hands of this team.
Well said, well said. I think the really amazing thing in my mind is that Chinese Taipei has made more errors than the team from Connecticut. They have made 4 errors in their 2 ball games, and Trumbull, Connecticut only 2.
Line drive, left field, over the head of Dan McGrath. Off the wall, he'll play it in, and Lee Chin-Chi is up with a stand-up double. 3-0 pitch, rock to left.
Want to talk about hitting? As you see the first extra base hit, appeared to be a high off-speed pitch, and he just whacks it. Again, you don't have to pull the ball. It's a 3-1 pitch that's hit and short hops the wall, and again, you know it's going to be extra bases. A lot of times that ball will go out of here. They've out-homered the team from Connecticut 5-1.
Drury's pitch, a beauty. 0-1. At bat, the second baseman, Ye Chen Lung, is 2 for 3 in the World Series with 3 RBIs. Foul back and out of play.
Now, Chris Drury pitched on Tuesday. Now, that last pitch, a curveball. He dropped down a little bit, threw him a sidearm curveball. Pitched on Tuesday, and he was the winner. 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 base on balls, and he struck out 6. So he's coming back on 3 days rest.
Down is 0-2, 2 away. Top of the first.
We go back to the semifinal game. The Trumbull pitcher, Andy Paul, threw 3. His first 3 hits were all home runs. The coach came out. He said, calm down, and that's something we have to try to do.
Drury comes in with a record of 7-0 and seems as though he's got the major league spit down. 2-2-2. High drive, left field, another deep shot. McGrath off his glove. 1 run will score. And back-to-back doubles have given Chinese Taipei a 1-0 lead. For a moment, I thought McGrath would grab it.
Well, he just came in a little bit. Here you see him going back after he took that first step in, and that's all it takes. As the ball goes off his glove. Again, it's only 204. It's a symmetrical ballpark. He makes a great effort. Ball that he might have been able to catch, but a tough play.
A couple of hard shots off pitcher Chris Drury. Left field's been the hot corner. As Chinese Taipei and the Little League from the city of Kaohsiung leads 1-0. Strike.
Mario Garrido, the home plate umpire, with a pretty big strike zone so far. So if Chris Drury is going to be successful, he's going to have to get that breaking ball down.
0-2. This is that critical moment.
Well,
Trumbull, Connecticut.
For any pitcher, whether it's Little League or the major leagues, your teammate doesn't help you out. It is a team game. What he wants to do is maintain his poise and make a good pitch here. See if he can do it.
Strike 3. And the ball is dropped. You do not run in Little League. So Trumbull gets out of the top of the inning, giving up 1. It'll be their turn to bat in a moment. Back live in Williamsport, manager Tom Galla surviving the first half of the first inning, giving up only 1 run. He'll send to the plate first his pitcher, Chris Drury. The backup pitcher, Matt Bastura, bats second, the center fielder. Around at first is a big fan of Phil Rizzuto's, Ken Martin. In right field, the winning pitcher from the semifinals, Andy Paul. Shortstop is Dan Brown. The Australian Dan McGrath, who had a busy first half of the first. Dave Galla, the manager's son, at second base. Batting 8th is Cody Lee behind the plate. And little Jason Hairston, a fun player to watch, is around at third. Defensively for Chinese Taipei, it is Tseng, Chen, and Huang in right field. Wang, Chang, Ye, and Su around the infield. And the battery is the man who had the double in the first half of the inning, Lee Chin-Chi, the pitcher, and Su Chi Hao behind the plate. There are some rules that you should know. The game is 6 innings, not 9. Players cannot turn 13 years old prior to August 1st. Starters can re-enter the game once, but only in the same spot in the batting order. That's very critical to managerial strategy. And no player can pitch in consecutive games. So whoever pitched in the semifinals cannot pitch today no matter what happens.
And have you had a chance to see Lee Chi-Chin, the pitcher, warm up? A submariner. First time we've seen this in a long time. We had a chance to see the left-hander pitch the other day, and that was Su-Ming Lan, and he threw 73 miles per hour, so the kids from Connecticut will see an Under Armour.
He has not pitched in the World Series, but was the pitcher in Chinese Taipei's opening game of the Far East Regional. That was a 12-1 victory over the People's Republic of China, and I can only imagine that for Chinese Taipei, that was a sweet victory indeed. That was the only run that Chinese Taipei allowed in the regional.
Coming in 6 games.
Down the middle. It's got to be a little disconcerting now for Trumbull to be facing a submarine pitcher.
Well, it's also differently, and if you talk to any hitter at any level, he'll say, hey, I don't normally pick up the ball coming out of a pitcher's hand like you do with submariners.
Here's the Trumbull, Connecticut pitcher, Chris Drury at bat, a 500 hitter entering the World Series. Swung late, fouled off, and the count is 2 strikes.
The ironic thing, Tom Gallo, who's managing Trumbull, used to catch in college Kent Ticovey, who was a submariner. And you see the almost brushing his hand on the ground.
Inside 1-2. Drury, by the way, comes from a family of hockey players. His brother was drafted by the Calgary Flames, but decided to play at Harvard instead, where he was offered a scholarship. Chris Drury, who's at bat for Trumbull, is a member of the national champion 14 and under team this winter, and here he is in the Baseball Little League World Series. Line shot right at the shortstop, Cheng Chi-Yi, and there's one away. An absolutely beautiful day. Just light, stringy clouds. Temperature in the high 70s. Matt Bastura, the center fielder, and the man who would come into pitch if Chris Drury had any problems. And the biggest crowd I remember, at least in the years that I've been here with you, Jim.
Certainly is, as they've come to root the East on. Now, the one thing that the Far East team does have over the Connecticut team is control. They have yet to walk anybody here at Williamsport. So Lee, who played shortstop the other day, threw overhand. Now he pitches underhand.
Line drive, that's in the gap. It goes all the way to the wall. Matt Bastura on his way to second, and it'll hold there.
Breaking ball up, you could see him go after it. Again, he just lays the bat head on, and with the aluminum bat, a great effort by Chen, the center fielder. He just can't get to it. And the Americans with their first base hit, man on second.
Batter is Ken Martin, 1 for 5 in the series with 1 RBI. First baseman takes low, ball 1. Coming into the tournament in the season, Ken Martin was quite a hitter. .641 was his batting average with 9 home runs and 31 RBIs. Line shot back to the pitcher. Up to the middle. He'll get the runner at first as Bastura moves up to third. 2 away.
Well, what a great play, Al. We talked about the hard surface. That ball took a bad back. Now it's Cheng Chi-Yi. Goes to his left. Talk about staying with the ball, following it into your glove. Look at him go down and get it. It's a strong throw, and there's 2 down.
One of the best hitters on the team is up now, and Andy Paul, the right fielder. 5'6", 131 pounds. Right down the middle, strike 1.
Talked about that disparity between home runs. Andy Paul with the only home run for Trumbull. Only 1 for 6, though. That 1 hit being a home run.
2 strikes.
That's nasty. And what makes it so difficult is that when you throw submarine style, the curveball has a tendency to change. Great balls. Great target. Going back to that thought, when you throw a changeup or a curveball, the ball changes planes. Most curveballs go down or they break away. but the curveball just seems to go up a little bit. So as a hitter, you're not only fooled by the change of speed, but also the plane of the ball.
Andy Paul swings at a bad pitch, so Trumbull sends a runner to third, but they leave him stranded. After 1 inning of play in the World Series, it's 1-0. We move to the top half of the second inning at Howard J. Lamade Stadium today on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Tom Galla and his assistant Bob Zullo, who's a roofing contractor in Trumbull, Connecticut, which is 10 miles north of Bridgeport, off the coast of the Long Island Sound. Trumbull making its first appearance in the Little League World Series.
8 guys back, excuse me, Al. 8 guys back from last year's All-Star team. And did not get out of the regionals, but certainly gave them a lot of hope for this year and all the way to the finals. Talking about Trumbull.
That dropped out.
That slow overhand curveball. And when you try to throw a good curveball, you have to get it way out in front of your body.
Ground ball to second. The manager's son, Dave Galla, over to Ken Martin, 1 down. Let's go down to Mike Adamle. Mike, where are you?
Well, Al, we talked about the big crowd here at the Little League World Series. One of the reasons is that the East is represented for the first time since 1975. They don't lack for confidence. After they beat San Pedro on Thursday, they made these shirts, USA Champions 1989, and they've even brought their own bugler. Got a couple of bars for us? Sure. These folks are ready.
Well, it may have worked, Mike. An easy fly ball to Ken Martin. And there are 2 away.
You ought to blow that bugle when they hit. As it trailed by a run.
Trumbull, Connecticut, surviving the Connecticut region, then moving in and defeating Swanton, Vermont, Manchester, New Hampshire, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and Wilmington, Delaware. Then a 1-run victory over Davenport, Iowa, and a come-from-behind win over San Pedro, California. 1 ball, no strikes. The batter is Chen Kwanlung. Fast.
Oh, breaking ball again. Just trying to change speeds and been able to do it so far. There's another little slow curveball. Again, he throws a changeup, a curveball, a knuckleball. And Tom Galla said he's the type of pitcher, if they swing at the high fastball and foul it off, he'll throw the next one a little bit higher. A great presence of mind. He's tough, plays hockey.
He can handle championship pressure. As we said, he won a hockey championship earlier this year. Ground ball back to the mound. Drury underhand to Martin, and it's 1-2-3. We move to the bottom half of the second inning. The Chinese Taipei nursing a 1-run lead.
Hi, I'm Don Mattingly. Happy 50th anniversary, Little League.
Manager Tom Galla of Trumbull, Connecticut, trying to manage the best of 14 players that were selected of the 55 eligible in the Trumbull Little League. And we move to the bottom half of the second inning with his team trailing 1-0.
That's quite a statement right there that they've held the Far East to only 1 run, that coming on an error. But of course what he said is we can win 2 games without a lot of hitting, but I doubt if we can win it all. Well, they've been some great people up here, polite every year. I've been out here for 5 out of the last 6 years. Same people come, same politeness, and it's quite a spectacle.
It's the kind of event you'd miss if you didn't get a chance to come. Dan Brown takes ball 1. He's 1 for 5 in the series with 1 run scored. His brother Patrick graduated first in his class from West Point this spring. Another brother plays football at Cornell. So some talented athletes and some smart guys in the Brown family. Lee Chin Chi Over to Big Su Ming Lan, the first baseman, and there's one away.
When you talk about strategy, what Tom Gallo would like to do against the Far East is have the game close enough when they get into late innings, so maybe they'll make that one rare physical or even possibly a mental mistake that'll allow them to win.
Keenum, David, you might want to do the same thing. Push it up and drop.
We have a microphone on manager Tom Gallo, and we'll be listening to him throughout the game as Dan McGrath, the left fielder, comes up. He had a busy first inning. One went over his head, one was in his glove for a moment, and they gave him an error when it fell away, and that led to the only run of the game. Line shot left field, just foul.
You know, the bad news, that ball twisted foul for the kids from Trumbull, but the good news is they really have been able to make contact. Only one strikeout. Of course, most of the time, if you look at a ball that slicing and just barely goes foul, well, they'd like to have, but maybe they'd get a little bit luckier later in the game. You never know. They've been able to make contact, and I think what Tom Gallo said, maybe move up in the box, get the ball before it breaks.
Another one down the left field side. This one up into the crowd. Everyone here, by the way, gets in free. No one pays for a ticket to come see Little League. I get the feeling that even if they did have to pay, they'd get this many people here. And when they get here, they're treated to some of the best bargains in all of sports. 75-cent hot dogs and 50-cent sodas. Ground ball to second. Yen Chun Lung rips it over to Su Ming Lan, 2 away.
Yeah, they've had to make some defensive changes. The shortstop the first 2 games for the Far East is now pitching. Their second baseman went to short, and the right fielder came in to play second base. Here's a group of kids that are very disciplined, but also can play a lot of positions, which is what you'd like to do at Little League. You never know what you're going to end up being.
Dave Gallo, the son of manager Tom Gallo, takes ball 1. He says the world's biggest problem is the ozone, where my partner frequently says my head is.
He also said another problem is you don't know if you're playing because you're good or it's because your dad's the coach.
The crowd doesn't like the strike call made by Mario Garrido, the home plate umpire.
Again, we said Mario had a pretty good big strike zone. Maybe a little bit high, but certainly a pitch you'll know you'll swing at next time.
Took himself out of that swing. Dave Gallo 2 for 4 in the series with 3 runs scored. We're in the bottom half of the second inning with Chinese Taipei holding on to a 1-run lead. Both teams have a hit. 1 and 2 is the count. There are 2 outs. Fouled off. Big difference between pitching speed of this pitcher at 58 miles an hour and the one that the Far East threw on the mound in the semifinal against Venezuela.
Su Ming Lan, who's the 5'8", 175-pound pitcher, was throwing 73 miles per hour in the shadows. That's the equivalent at 60.6 feet of maybe throwing 95 miles per hour. That's the reaction time.
Strike 3, that ends the inning. Well, at the end of 2 here in Williamsport, it is still 1-0. We move to the top of the 3rd inning in the Little League World Series in 1989. Chinese Taipei and the Kaohsiung Little League representing the Far East and the U.S. East of Trumbull, Connecticut. They arrived here in this championship game. Trumbull did by defeating San Pedro, California with a come-from-behind victory. And the Latin American representative, Maracaibo, Venezuela, was beaten by the team that's at bat now. They try the bunt. It does not get by Chris Drury. And Wang Qin-chi makes the first out of the top of the 3rd.
I tell you, Chris Drury must be some kind of hockey player because he's really quick off the mound. You know, he knew he had a quick play and just made it easily. So you look at the big guy. I'll tell you what, I did some demonstrations yesterday, and all the kids from Toronto and some of the kids from Davenport, Iowa that were here representing the Central said, he shaves. He broke somebody's thumb.
He just pops it up again. Second baseman Dave Gallo is under it and corrals it for out number 2. That's 2 high fly balls to the right field for the big leadoff batter and first baseman Su Ming Lan.
Those are the type of pitches that you just miss. If you look at some of the crowd here, and they do come in all ages, from youngsters all the way to people well in their 80s or 90s.
Seng Ching-lung, the left fielder. 8 teams came this week to the Little League World Series, representing 4 regions of the United States, Europe, Latin America, Canada, and the Far East. And these are the 2 that are left. Little League pays their expenses. They bring their coaches and a manager over here. And in the case of Trumbull, Connecticut, busloads make it to the game to cheer the support. 55 mph on that last pitch. 1-1.
Another breaking ball. The ball again looked like it might be a little bit low, but Chris Drury just throwing them slower and slower, and an occasional fastball to keep the hitter honest.
In between innings, last time between innings. Line drive right at the shortstop, Dan Brown, to end the inning. Well, manager Tom Gallup told Chris Drury, throw him drunk, don't give him anything good to hit. And Drury is listening to his manager's advice. Chinese Taipei leading Trumbull, Connecticut 1-0 as we move to the bottom of 3.
All right. Come on, let's get some run.
Hi, I'm Cal Ripken Jr. of the Baltimore Orioles, and I'd like to wish Little League Baseball happy 50th anniversary.
Come from Tampa, Florida, Davenport, Iowa, San Pedro, California, Trumbull, Connecticut. They've come from the embassy in Washington, and they've come from Penn State to root on Chinese Taipei, and then others have just come to watch. Of all ages, 40,000 plus, lining this little grove at the base of the northern side of the Appalachian Mountains in north central Pennsylvania. Late afternoon, late summer sun, basking here are these 2 teams of 11 and 12-year-olds from Chinese Taipei, leading 1-0, and Trumbull, Connecticut. As we move to the bottom of the 3rd, Cody Lee, the catcher, one of the few who has turned 13 after August 1st. One hit apiece. Tim, I have to be honest about my feelings of what we're seeing here. I mean, as the week moves on and everyone sees the way Chinese Taipei plays baseball, they say, well, if Trumbull can just stay with them for a couple of innings, they've done a major thing. That's how heavily Chinese Taipei was favored.
All fouled back, and of course, we've been here I've been here 5 out of 6 years, you the last 3 years.
Wait, timeout, Jim.
That's right.
This was the best answer to the best question. The world's biggest problem in the mind of Cody Lee, 2 times 6 times 4, divided by 26 times 2 times 8 times 6, divided by 7 minus 8 times 9. And I haven't taken time to figure out what the answer is.
Yeah, well, Cody Lee tries to be like Cody Webster. Yeah. Got his calculator out. Don't all kids have calculators now? Anyway, Cody Webster back in '82 with a 285-foot home run for the Washington team. Also pitched a 2-hitter, struck out 12. So Cody Lee'd like to be the other Cody.
Ground ball through the hole, base hit right side. A rare mistake. Can Trumbull, Connecticut now take advantage, as they have so far in this Little League World Series?
5th error for the Far East team, and I suppose when you look at the first baseman, Su-Ming Lan, he's 5'8", he's 175 pounds. You like to get the glove down. Mike Schmidt gave us a nice fielding demonstration yesterday. Lay that glove on the ground. You can always bring it up, but it's hard to put down. That was a perfect example.
A little scrappy third baseman, Jason Harrison. All 4'7" of him steps to the plate. He's hit a 2-run home run. That came in the first game of the Eastern Regional, so don't let that size fool you.
He would most likely be bunting in this situation. Trumbull trying to get somebody on second base.
Strike.
The good point there is he goes for a ball high. If you're going to try to bunt, and as a former pitcher, I had a lot of practice. Earl Weaver never letting me swing away that much, but what you try to do is number 1. And if you see the best thing about USA, which there's girls everywhere, Jason.
Yeah, but Jason, what's your favorite city?
Yeah. Try to get the bat out in front of home plate, but also pick a strike to bunt. The count should be 2-0. It's really 1-1 because he went after a bad pitch. Get the bat well out in front of the plate, let the ball hit the bat, just kind of lay it out there. fingers behind the bat so it doesn't break anything.
Foul back, 1-2. The last time an Eastern Regional team made it to the Little League World Series Championship game was in 1975, and they won. But that was a year that the Far Eastern teams were being investigated, you know, for age violations and so forth, and having Little League programs that were too large, and so they weren't here. The West teams have dominated over the last 3 years. Line shot just over the shortstop's head, and a collision, but the catch is made. What a job by Chang-Chi Yi.
So he did not realize, Al, how shallow Seng, the left fielder, was playing because of Harrison's size. And the result is that I think he kind of clotheslined him. Like you're playing in the NFL right here. He doesn't know the left fielder's there, and it looks like he gets him right in the forehead or maybe the eye area. And we'll take a better look here. Right with his right arm. But he's going to stay out there. So the little guy takes on the big guy, and they get an out.
He got calf roped. Well, there's one away. Still Cody Lee at first base.
So execution, we've seen the error by the Trumbull team, and now the lack of sacrificing costing him a scoring possibility.
High drive, base hit. Cody Lee will hold at second. And Chris Drury, the pitcher, helping his own cause, is on at first. One out.
Good hitters always hit the ball back up the middle, or at least that's what they try to do, hit the ball hard. With an aluminum bat, Tom Gallus said, get up in the box, get the ball before it breaks, like you're trying to hit a sinker ball pitcher. Chris Drury did that, he hit it right back up the middle.
Now this is the second time that these batters are seeing the pitches of Lee Chin-Chi. Low strike. Drury's a hockey player.
You all right?
You don't want to mess with Chris.
Did he step on you?
Yeah.
All right, don't come off the bag hard now. Where did he step on you?
I wasn't even.
No, I understand that, but are you hurt?
No, I'm fine.
Hey, he was a foot off the base, and this guy's stepping on him.
It's a part of the play, though. What are we going to do about that? Now they both, he pushed and you pushed. We want to control this game.
He's pushing because he wants to get back on the bag.
But we want to control. We're not going to call him out. We know what
I understand, but I mean, can we tell these guys, let's play ball?
We're the ones that are under control. We'll keep it under control.
All right. Okay.
Take another look at the pickoff, and right here, Su-Ming Lang, and right there, now he just kind of knocks him off. You can't do that. Now you can impede a guy coming back to the bag. It's been done at home plate in the major leagues, also by second basemen and shortstops.
Foul ball.
And Mario Garrido, the home plate umpire, handed well. He said, we're not going to call him out. We understand what happened. Let's play ball. He's a perfect villain, isn't he?
Oh, he's the biggest guy out there. And I'll tell you, it looked like Su-Ming Lang was trying to play soccer with the hockey player. He's using his feet only. One out, count is 0-2. Matt Basturo, the center fielder, doubled his first time at bat. Short little number to the pitcher. They'll get the out, but the runners advance to second and third.
So Lee Chin-Chi, the pitcher, has not thrown more than one ball to every batter. And that's amazing. Not throwing that hard, not being overpowering like their first baseman was the other day. He was throwing 73 miles per hour, but mixing it up right around 55 miles per hour and getting guys out.
Martin grounded out his first time at bat, 6-3. He's 1 for 6 in the World Series. Favorite baseball player is the scooter, Phil Rizzuto, but he's at first base and Phil was at short, so there's no position allegiance.
Sure that's not favorite announcer? I think he really knows who Phil Rizzuto was. I mean, he knows who he is as an announcer.
Holy cow, what a swing.
Holy cow, what a pitch. Their leading home run hitter. Also the biggest of the Trumbull, Connecticut boys at 5'10", and doesn't get the good breaking ball.
1-1, 2 away, runners at second and third. High. First time that Lee Chin-Chi has thrown 2 balls to a Trumbull, Connecticut batter.
Yes, Lee, the pitcher, proving if you change speeds, keep the ball down, throw a variety of pitches, you can be effective. He's got a shutout going.
3-1. We can already say that this is the closest game in the last 4 years that Jim, that you and I have been in.
Well, 12-0 last year, 21-1 2 years ago. Again, not a lot of velocity, just good control and good variance of pitches.
Strike 2. Full count with 2 away. Trumbull, Connecticut batting in the bottom half of the third inning and trailing 1-0.
The big advantage that the Far East has is that they can use Sang Sing Lung, who pitched their first game, as he went all the way in relief today.
Chris Drury giving a little signal from second base. Foul tip. Just did get a piece of it. I think he may have scraped the stitching on the ball. The manager, Wu Chin Ming, doesn't say very much, but is as intense as Tom Galla. Line drive, base hit, right field. 1 run is in. They send the second runner. He's in. Trumbull leads 2-1. Biggest hit in Ken Martin's life.
Well, this is what you try to do with a 3-2 count. Make contact. A lot of leverage at 5'10". He just drills it. They get a chance to throw out Drury right here as he did not come around third very hard. But the throw off the line, and Chris Drury scores the second run. 2-1.
Su Chi Hao did well to grab onto that ball, but he was way out in front of the plate. And so Ken Martin is on at first, and Chris Drury has a 2-1 lead. The batter is Andy Paul, who pitched in the semifinals, the right fielder. He struck out his first time at bat. And with 2 outs, Trumbull, Connecticut leads now in the bottom of the third, 2-1. 0-2. Andy Paul's favorite subject is history, and he knows quite well that the last time an American team has won the Little League World Series was 1983. Kids from Marietta, Georgia. And Andy Paul goes down swinging, but Trumbull, Connecticut gets 2, and it is their lead. We will return after this message. Back live in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, Al Troutwig along with Jim Palmer and Mike Adamle, who is down in the crowd. Mike?
Well, Al, you know, when Chinese Taiwan first made it here to Williamsport back in 1969, they brought their own personal cook with them. Well, Charlie Yen liked it so much, he and his wife did, that he decided to move to Williamsport 3 years later. He's been here ever since. Now, Charlie speaks very little English, but his daughter, Gina, is a Yale graduate and does. My question to you is, who's guarding the restaurant?
Oh, my brother Mom is guarding the restaurant.
Why is baseball so big and popular in Taiwan, Chinese Taipei, Gina?
Well, they play baseball year-round, and it's as popular as football is here in the United States. And believe it or not, they like to aspire to play in the winning team that comes to the United States.
Well, tell your father that thank you very much for joining us, and that Al, Jim, and I want reservations for this time next year, okay?
Certainly.
Al, the name of the restaurant is Yen King, and we'll be there next year. Join us.
Mike, we've already been there, and it's good. 4 chef hats to Yen King.
At least.
Way inside off the fingertips of Drury, the pitcher for Trumbull, Connecticut. We have a change in right field. Chris Kelly, who has not batted in the Little League World Series, moves into right field, replacing Andy Paul. And according to Little League rules, Andy Paul can come back in the same position in the batting order. It may just be that Tom Galla wanted to give Chris Kelly a chance to play in the Little League World Series.
Oh, that, and also Andy Paul with a couple of strikeouts, maybe sit him down for an inning, even though he's a good defensive player, and talk to him and then get him out there some other point later in the game.
Foul back, Palmer just can't get it. Drury has retired 7 consecutive batters since Chinese Taipei scored its first run. That was on 2 doubles back in the first inning. Trumbull, Connecticut leading by a score of 2-1 as we're in the top of the 4th inning. And this is the 50th year of Little League Baseball. The World Series actually began in 1947. And a conference. It's got to be the best seat in the house right there. Two and two.
The U.S. with a 2-1 lead. It's going to be a little tougher to score runs. The shadows are creeping in. Left field will be a very tough sun field in about a half an hour. You see those shadows just coming out towards the pitcher.
Ground ball picked up at third by Harrison. It'll have to be quick. He is. One away.
What a great play. You don't see it any better. We saw a chance the far east shortstop the other day to dive in the outfield, come up firing. I think you were seeing Ozzie Smith, but Jason Harrison to his left and then throws back against the grain just with his hips. And you think you're in Baltimore or in any other major league city seeing a youngster. Watch him look. Right that ball into the glove, and right here an off-balance throw. Ken Markin, great target for the out.
Back live with one away. Ye Chen Lung, the batter. His double on the error by Dan McGrath in left field scored the first Chinese Taipei run, the only Chinese Taipei run. Fouled off right side. 1-1's the count. Last pitch 48 miles an hour. The one before that, or a few pitches ago, was the first pitch I remember that Drury threw that we recorded at 60 miles an hour.
Again, mixing them up.
That looked like a quick one.
Look at some real great pitchers, Al, that have shown guys the breaking ball the first time, and then when you get the shadows or you get them looking for something slow as you take another look. Now look at the shadow, and there's a fastball. That's probably well around 60 miles an hour again, so he's just doing a great job of thinking out there, not just throwing.
Ground ball through the hole, base hit. McGrath picks it up, brings it in. The ball gets away, but Martin backs up the second baseman Gala. Fundamentals exhibited there by Trumbull, Connecticut.
You don't like to go with a base hit, as you see Tom Gala gesturing, and he has numbers that he'll hold up to show the players what base they wants to throw to, what play is on.
Ye Chen Lung with a single to left. And he's on with one away in the top half of the 4th inning. Trumbull, Connecticut holding on to a 2-1 lead. The batter is Su Chi Hao. 5'1 and a half, 104 pounds, one of the smaller members of the Chinese Taipei team. He comes from a wealthy family. His father's into real estate, which I guess even in Chinese Taipei is a lucrative business.
Semi-final game, they bunted in this situation.
And they bunt again. Drury will have to hurry. It's there. 2 away.
So a good scouting report, because what they want to do is get the runner in scoring position and really prey upon the defense. Most Little League teams would not be able to make this play. That's the difference between Trumbull and the other American teams that did not get to the finals. Now look at this play. A hockey player, he pounces on it. The 5'10" first baseman Ken Martin with a great stretch. Even though the slide is done, they get the out.
And we've seen this week the Chinese Taipei players sliding into first base an extraordinary amount.
Like we talked about, they must have done some studies. A lot of people in America think it's a slower way to get to first.
Zheng Chi-Yi, the shortstop, his 8th at bat in the series. He is 0 for 7 with 1 RBI. Grounded out 4-3, his first time at bat, and that ball gets away. Runner advances to third.
Now that runner only can advance once the ball goes by home plate. So when the ball went by Cody Lee, he can come off the bag and go to third. And what this does is set up another possible pass ball or wild pitch. Way outside, and Cody Lee tries to get his glove on it, but couldn't reach it.
2 outs, runner at third. The runner is Ye Chen Lung, who singled. And that wild pitch was 56 miles an hour. 2-0.
So Hairston in at third, trying to maybe look for the possible bunt. The rest of the defense pretty much straight away. Again, that bunt, what it sets up is a possible situation. If somebody boots a game, Al, the game is tied.
Wide open, 3-0. Both teams are well supported. Just on the outside corner, 3-1. Nah. Foul back, 2 strikes. 3-2, 2 outs. Ball 4, runners at first and third, so Chris Drury loses him. All right, so now the number.
Those are numbers. So what that means is 6, and that's the shortstop will go to 4, which means home, which is a little confusing. With 2 down, you'd think they take the out at second or at first. I think what that means, excuse me, we've seen this play with runners in first and third. They're going to send the runner at first. And what Tom Gallo is saying, just throw to the shortstop, he'll throw home. Difficult situation for the defense because the run at first is meaningful because this early in the game it could be eventually the go-ahead run, but I would be more concerned about the tying run at third.
Strike 1-1. And the runner holds. In the semifinal game against Venezuela, it was the first pitch, runner gone. But here it seems as though Chinese Taipei is taking their time.
I think they also figured that they had to have been scouted and had to come up with some way to devise a defense against that.
Ground ball, third base, Jason Hairston. In time, and Trumbull is out of the inning. So Chinese Taipei strands 2, and we move to the bottom of 4 with Connecticut leading by 1.
Hi, this is Mike Greenwell of the Boston Red Sox. Happy 50th anniversary to Little League.
Hey, that's an understatement.
In between
I want to get 4 or 5.
the dugout of Trumbull, Connecticut.
Come on now. Give me a growl. Another one.
Give me a growl. We're back live at Howard J. Lomini Stadium with Trumbull, Connecticut leading the Far Eastern team by a score of 2-1. Al Troutwig along with Jim Palmer. Mike Adamle is roving the crowd, and we will be joined in this half inning by the Chief Executive Officer of Little League Baseball, Dr. Creighton Hale. Dr. Hale, I know that you must be hearing comments from time to time about how the American teams have a tough time beating the Far Eastern team, and what can we do to help ourselves? And now suddenly, when you've probably been hearing it for 5 years, here's the American team of the league going into the bottom of the 4th, and that takes the pressure off you a little bit, doesn't it?
Oh, this is great. It's a wonderful game, great crowd, beautiful day, and you couldn't be any better.
Dan Brown, the batter for Trumbull, Connecticut. Lee Chin-Chi is still on the mound, having given up 3 hits and 2 runs. Swinging strike. One of the things that Little League Baseball has put forth and made major announcements in the past couple of months is its new Challenger division for mentally and physically handicapped children. It's called the Challenger division, and the Little League World Series will be played for them in Connecticut, interestingly enough, in Bristol at the new facility that's being built there. 1 and 2 is the count.
This is going to be our newest and probably the finest leadership training center we have. And it's going to be equipped so that handicapped children can play.
Short ground ball, second base, 1 out. Stan Brown is down in the bottom of the 4th. This is a 6-inning game, remember.
Yes, it's 6. Now, you know, one of the highlights is that we can recognize special people at different times during the World Series week. And last night I thought was kind of special for me because we could thank you for what you've done for Little League over the past several years. And you've been really one of our specials because you come in here and do things at our banquets and our World Series that are extraordinary, and you do it as in the interest of the volunteer.
Well, thank you, but you're not going to make me speechless twice in a row, Dr. Hale.
Well, I truly mean that. You're a great guy.
Well, thank you very much. I played Little League, and to come here and be part of this, even at the age that I am, was really a dream. And I really enjoyed the time that we've spent on ABC's Wide World of Sports covering it. Ooh. Way behind Dan McGrath. Was he hit?
I don't look like it may have grazed him. You know, the problem as a hitter is you don't know which way to go. You don't know whether to go towards the plate or out of the way. I think that's why the look of really an incredible look. He's going, whoa, wait a minute.
McGrath doing the Australian rules football dance. Born in Australia, from Canberra. He will be returning there in December. His father works for the Australian government, and it's time to return home. Ball 3-0 outside. What was interesting was that when manager Tom Galla put this team together, he asked for McGrath's father to send a letter to him guaranteeing that they wouldn't have to return home to Australia before the Little League World Series. Well, now both sides have kept their promise.
Right.
Well, Trumbull's got a runner. McGrath walks with 1 out.
And that's the first walk. Al walks it even for both Trumbull and the team from Chinese Taipei.
Dr. Hale, give us some of the differences in how they treat Little League over in Chinese Taipei. Why have they won since 1983?
The most important reason is that they play baseball year-round. They have adopted the game as their most important physical activity in their schools. Now, we don't have baseball here in elementary school, but they do. After they play 9 months at school, they play 3 months of Little League, and that's the main difference.
Going back to 1975, you went over there, did do an investigative report on not only the population pool, no more larger than 20,000, but also the birth certificates and so on.
Yes, it was carefully investigated. Even last year, Jim, we had an investigation, and our representative in Japan actually went to the homes of all the children that played here in that World Series to verify that they lived there and within the population limits that we have.
A pinch runner at first. Paul Conniglia will be moving. He's in safe at second. Ball gets away, but it is backed up. Dave Gallo with a single, and Paul Conniglia running for Dan McGrath is on at second. And the Trumbull supporters are up again, and the yellow wave is got a lot of activity.
We may see a pitching change. As I said, the pitcher that pitched the first game here, he can't pitch on consecutive days or consecutive games. He could come back and pitch. It's a big advantage for Trumbull is that Andy Paul, who pitched their semifinal game, cannot come back and pitch today.
He has thrown 54 pitches. That's a lot. But he has just given up his first walk and allowed another hit, the 4th of the game. And Trumbull, Connecticut has runners on first and second with 1 away.
Well, this is a very similar experience that happened to Tom Gallen in the semifinals. His pitcher giving up 3 hits, all home runs. He went out and said, of course, we can't understand what manager Wu said, but he said, relax. Also, just get the ball down, make some good pitches. He came back and they won 6-3.
Cody Lee, the catcher, his second at bat. His first one was a big one. He got on when the error was made by the big first baseman and later scored. Ground ball, third base, booted! And bases will be loaded. Error number 2 for Chinese Taipei. Trumbull, Connecticut knew that it would take some rare circumstances for them to win. This is a rare circumstance.
It's a bad hop, Al, and what he did do right, he stayed in front of it. It hits his chest. He doesn't make the play as Trumbull loads up the bases, but he does keep the ball in front of him, and the bases will be loaded.
Another conference. Dr. Hale, let me take a moment to thank you very much. You're doing a marvelous job, and it's one of the reasons that I enjoy, and Jim enjoys, and we all enjoy coming back every year.
Well, both of you have done a wonderful job for us, and I want to thank ABC, A Wide World of Sports, for 24 years of continual telecasts, which have thrilled the country, and actually the Far East as well, because you're being on Telstar to Taiwan.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Hale.
Hi, Al.
Dr. Creighton Hale, the Chief Executive Officer of Little League Baseball. The man who's responsible for the chest protector and the batting helmet, and now the Challenger Series and drug and alcohol programs for Little League Baseball.
I believe, Al, we may have a pinch hitter for Jason Hairston. Usually we're the last to know up here about any substitution. So Harlan Marks will come in when the base is loaded. Look for anything, Al. It's squeeze, 2-1 lead. They only one out. They can do a lot of things.
A short little chopper. The throw comes home, and they'll be 2 away. It had the effect of a squeeze.
Well, except the only difference is that on a squeeze, the runner would have been coming, would have made the play a lot closer, but Lee Chen-Chi, the pitcher, did it exactly the way you're supposed to. He gets to the ball and knows he has time. He doesn't rush it. He's already anticipated, hey, if the ball's hit back to me, what am I going to do? He just shovels it underhand. And Sue, the catcher, looks to see if he's got a double play. He doesn't, so there's 2 down.
And of course, in Little League, you cannot break for the next base, in that particular instance, home plate, until the ball has crossed. Su Ming Chie, you saw him taking some warm-up tosses at third, has taken over third base.
Right.
Jason Hairston will now go back into the game. Harlan Marks came out. Fielder's choice. He stays at first, but now Jason Hairston will go back into that batting order position and back into third base.
It's like having the DH in a way. Put your best defensive player back out there. At least Hairston, who's played outstandingly. That brings up today's pitcher.
Who's hit the ball hard twice. Lined out to shortstop, then singled to center.
Well, that's the amazing thing in all the finals I've had a chance to do. This is the least overpowering pitcher the Far East has ever had. So they've been making contact, and some hits have fallen in.
Bottom of the 4th inning, 2-1 Trumbull, Connecticut. They're batting with the bases loaded and 2 out. Ball 1. Don and Marcia Drury, his parents, they've made the, I guess, 6-hour drive from Trumbull to here. Fouled off 1-1.
We had a chance last night at the Little League dinner to hear Dr. Bobby Brown, president of the American League, talk, and he talked about not only integrity, obviously, learning the difference between right and wrong, but he also talked about playing other sports. And it's so nice to see Chris Drury, who's been successful not only as a hockey player, but also interested in basketball when he can, baseball here at Little League level.
On shot over to left field, coming on. He can't get it. 1 run is in. 2 runs have scored. And Trumbull, Connecticut leads 4-1. Long in left field, just could not get there.
I think Alley's fooled by this swing right here. Ball off the end of the bat. He breaks back, and here he comes. About as hard as you can. Swing the left fielder, it falls, and I'll tell you what, Jason Harrison almost scored all the way from first.
Well, watch, Jim, it hits his feet. Another bad mistake because now the ball's coming forward.
Well, he didn't mean to do that. He just tried to dive for it, and then it kicks away, and Harrison almost scored.
The center fielder, who would have been backing him up and had a better shot to throw the second run out at home, couldn't get the ball because it bounced the wrong way.
Well, that's true, but with 2 outs, they should have been running. We talked about the Sun field. Maybe he didn't see the ball well, but I'll tell you what, he just didn't quite get to it. You can see the scoreboard, 4-1.
Well, they look pretty happy now, Chris's parents. And that will end the inning. But Trumbull, Connecticut gets 2 runs for the second inning in a row. We move to the top of the 5th inning. And they have a starting lead at 4-1.
Well, John and Marcia Drury, the parents of Chris Drury, the Trumbull, Connecticut pitcher, have been on the edge of their seats all game long. John, this has got to be a tough experience.
It sure is. We got 6 more outs. We're waiting.
What does a mother go through at a time like this?
She's very nervous.
Well, at the risk of putting the kiss of death on you, hang in there. Keep your fingers crossed. Good luck.
Do it.
Thank you.
All right, Mike, there's their son. Chris Drury's on the mound. He's been tough so far. Very tough.
Echoes what the coaching staff said. He said, you know, these kids have been calm all week. We're the ones that's been nervous.
Yeah. We're moving to the top of the 5th inning with the score 4-1 favoring Trumbull, Connecticut. 4 runs on 5 hit and 1 error. 1 run, 2 hits and 2 errors for Chinese Taipei.
Marlon Marks pinch hit for number 1.
Which was what number?
15.
15 hit for number 1.
15 for number 1.
1 hit for number 1. Then he could come back in.
Then he
You can re-enter once.
re-enter once. Okay. 他是刚15号带了个他打过一次，但是他们可以重新回去一次。
What are we looking at?
All right, there's the interpreter for the Chinese Taipei team explaining some roster moves that were made by Tom Gallo, the manager of Trumbull, Connecticut. Basically, Jason Hairston was pinch hit for, and so was the left fielder Dan McGrath. McGrath had gotten on, was replaced with a pinch runner. Now he's back in left field. He can re-enter the game according to league rules. Third baseman Jason Hairston never came to bat. He was pinch hit for by Harlan Marks, and now he is allowed to re-enter the game because he was a starting player as well. But they both have to go back in the same spot in the batting order. 6 outs away, Trumbull, Connecticut. You heard the Drury family. They're counting outs already. Jing Quan Long, the center fielder, grounded out 1-3 his first time at bat. He's hitting 167 in the World Series.
Again, what they did often in the semifinals, you square around a bunt and then swing. Time he takes the ball. It's interesting, we look at this offense, the home run, the big guys swing for the fences, the little guys just try to do what they just did there, make contact, squaring around again, bringing the defense in and hit it by him.
Fly ball. Gala can't get at the second baseman and drops in for a single to begin the top of the 5th.
And that's what that squaring around is. That infielder, you come in because you anticipate the bunt, and then you have trouble going out. As you look at Dave Gala, who's played very well defensively, just trying to catch a ball just out of reach.
Jing Quan Long with a single. That's the 3rd hit for Chinese Taipei. Trumbull, Connecticut has 5. Second baseman Dave Gala just could not get there.
One thing to remember, the only pitcher they can go to, Al, is their center fielder, Matt Bastura, who made a great throw in the semifinal game, but has only pitched a little over 3 innings in the whole tournament. They basically got here on the arms of Andy Paul and also Chris Drury. You're right here. What he's trying to do is bring the infield in, and then he just tries to make contact. And this is a pop-up if the infield's back at normal depth.
We have a pinch hitter coming in for Chinese Taipei, Lai Chi-Yao. Number 16 is coming up, taking the place of Wang Qingqi, the right fielder.
And he's been up 1 time, Al, and he is 1 for 1. So trying to get some offense going. They've only got 3 hits today.
Chris Drury is improving on his earned run average after almost 41 innings at under 2.5. 2.45 coming in, and so having given up 1 now, you can think that it's at least going to keep that value or drop a little bit lower if things stay the same. So he's having a heck of a game on the mound right now, including being involved in some important hitting situations for Trumbull. Ground ball through the hole, base hit. Off the glove of Dan Brown. Runners at first and second with nobody out.
You know the Far East is not going to quit. Probably finding themselves in a situation. You talked about the fact they only gave up 1 run in the regional as Tom Galla comes out to talk to Chris Drury.
No, because the next kid's better. We got to get this kid out.
We got him out.
You got him out twice with that junk, okay? You know, don't think that you can't throw a fastball way up in his eyes either. But if you throw it, make sure it's up there and make sure you're up there getting it, okay? You got to work him smart, okay? Come on, guys.
It's a classic situation. Don't walk him, but don't give him anything good to hit. You know, so
You've heard that
times.
before, have you?
Yes. But really, it's a lot of good advice, you know, and as he said the other day, you got to want to relax. And right here, that's second base, because that is the tying run.
Fly ball and a high one. Chris Kelly makes the catch. Runner tags. Safe at third. Runner at first held, so it's first and third with 1 away.
I think Chris Drury's father said it best. He said 6 more outs. They have 1, and at this point, what you try to do with a 3-run lead is start counting your outs. You'll give up the run at third. You want to keep the double play in order. You don't want to try to make the risky play.
The big batter for Chinese Taipei, Tzu Ming Lan, made 3 outs with fly ball after fly ball after fly ball. That brings up Seng Sing Lung, the left fielder. Grounded out, lined out. Now,
I don't know what happened there, Al. I tell you, it looked like, I mean, you know they're not intentionally walking somebody to get the, but it looked like he was trying to change baseballs. You know, as big as...
well, there's a ball up on the scoreboard, and the umpire called the ball.
As big as Tzu Ming Lan, who you talked about hitting the fly balls, the real home run hitter, 2 hitters away, and he has 2 home runs. So Tom Galla back out again to talk.
All you do is you just stand like 6 inches to the side of where you normally stand, okay? And he'll just throw it out to you. As soon as he releases the ball, you go get it. You get it down in his chest, okay?
Okay, I know what's happening here. Cody Lee is not the normal catcher. They have not had a lot of catching experience, and I think what they want to do is intentionally walk Seng Sing Lung, and Cody Lee is not sure how to handle it.
Well, my question with 1 out in a 3-run lead, why would you bring the winning run to the plate? So we're seeing some strategy that I don't understand.
Runners are at third and at first, with 1 man out in the top of the 5th inning. The score is 4-1, Trumbull, Connecticut. Ball 2.
So what they're doing is walking somebody that's made 2 outs to get to a guy to double in the first, and the guy on deck has hit 2 home runs with a base hit today. So we'll see what this strategy is all about. Maybe you set up the force, but you know, in Little League you don't turn that many double plays, even though we've seen a few. So maybe this is how Tom Galla has gotten this far.
You're up. You're going 4. Turn 2.
So what he's doing, as he said, turn 2 is trying to go for the double play. Jason Hairston, the third baseman, will play in, trying to get the force at home. Bases loaded.
The batter is Lee Chin Chi. 1 for 2 with a double. The pitcher, strike 1. Tom Galla electing to walk the bases loaded. You heard him say, let's turn 2. That's a gamble. Four runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Trumbull, Connecticut. 1 run, 4 hits, 2 errors for Chinese Taipei.
This type of strategy is normally reserved when you're trailing by a run or 2, trying to get out of the inning with 1 pitch. And also done at a big league level, or maybe a college level, or a minor league level.
Chris Drury got a break there. Chi went for a bad pitch.
Certainly did. Chris, who has only walked one on his way to walking maybe a second batter, that ball over his helmet. 2-2.
Drury's mom and dad. Ground ball foul, strike 2. Good contact, though.
Well, again, that's what the Taiwan team tries to do, or the Chinese Taipei team, excuse me. They hit so many, they've hit 5 home runs in this series, and what they try to do is hit it back at the pitcher. A symmetrical field, only 204 feet as you look at the runners, third and first. They can hit it out anywhere.
Outside, ball 3, full count with the bases loaded. Chinese Taipei hasn't scored since the first inning when they put a double and a double on an error together to score their only run. Trumbull has 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth. Fly ball left field and deep. McGrath going back. It's off the wall. 1 run is in. And out at home on the second run. What a throw from left field. Cody Lee is hurt. Little League position, Dr. Yasui is out there.
Right there, brother.
A dramatic moment in this game, to be sure.
He's going to have a bruise there, but the bone's all right. How about some ice on it? Yeah, you can put some ice. All right. Give me that ice, the ice bag. Cold packs.
Here's how it unfolded. Bases loaded with 1 out. And the Chinese Taipei pitcher was at bat. Dan McGrath is the left fielder.
Here, Al, he does not hit the cutoff man. He just says, hey, I got a good arm. I will try to throw him out. And Cody Lee, I don't know if he got him. And right there, you see the aftermath of the bruise. The doctor said, it's not broken, it's just bruised. Let's get the ice. Another angle. Like he got to the plate before he tagged him, but so probably most likely in a daze, he thinks this is the 3rd out, and he will eventually just flip the ball on the ground back to the pitcher. Let's go to the dugout. Right there, he realizes he's bruised, throws it back, and with 2 down, maybe runners could advance.
Now he realizes he's got a bruise, and he threw the ball away. Well, Cody is still down, and it looks as though he's going to have a little bit of a bandage put on it.
You don't even say anything.
I'll say nothing. Nothing.
Well, when the dust cleared, there are runners still at second and third with now 2 away. The score is 4-2.
Ideally, what you try to do is hit the cutoff man, maybe have him make a relay and keep the tying run at first base. Didn't work out that way, but they did get the out.
A cutoff man here and the run scores, right?
Exactly. Oh, it definitely, but again, it would only have been the 3rd run. You're more worried about the other 2, but great throw. We said it's about 204 feet. You can see the on-deck hitter saying safe.
Look at the emotion of the on-deck batter.
But Chris Drury, again, in control of his emotions, picks up the ball and saves a possible scoring situation.
Well, it looks as though Cody Lee, having gotten a very brief dosage of ice and a bandage, will stay in the game. Runners at 3rd and 2nd, 2 outs, top of the 5th. 1 run is in.
And it brings up Ye Chen Lung, and here's a guy that today he's got a base hit. He also has hit 2 home runs. 2 for 3 coming in today, 2 runs scored, 3 RBIs, and again those 2 home runs. So I would imagine if you walk the bases loaded with 3-run lead, you'll walk this man right here.
Next Saturday, it's a day of great golf on ABC Sports. First, the Golden Bear talks with the winners of this year's 4 majors in an hour of candid conversation. Jack Nicklaus, the Major Championships in Review, presented by Thrifty Car Rentals. Then see third-round coverage of the Greater Milwaukee Open live, except on the West Coast. That's all next Saturday right here on ABC Sports. Al Troutwig, Jim Palmer, Mike Adamle, and Tom Gallo's going to load him up again.
Sensible play. You walk the leading home run hitter for the Far East team from Chinese Taipei. Also set up a force play at any of the bases, and with 2 down, go-ahead runs already at second base. You have nothing to lose. The only thing you really do is you put a little more pressure on the pitcher. If he gets behind the hitter, you know he's got a 2-run lead. He may feel he has to come into the batter. Really a marvelous game, Al. As we said, one of the few times in recent years where there's even been a contest. Far East is dominating the American teams.
So they're loaded again for Chris Drury and Trumbull, Connecticut. 10 miles north of Bridgeport in the Nutmeg State.
Again, you see the numbers. That's the base they want their fielders to throw to. Maybe I think they were referring 4 to home plate, first base, second base, third, home. They're talking to the outfielders.
Strike on the outside corner, 0-1. The batter's Suchi Howell.
You know, the marvelous thing about all the strategy, you could not do it if you didn't have a pitcher with a mental makeup like Chris Drury. The coach, you have to rely on his mental stability.
Ground ball to Jason Hairston. All he's got to do is step on third. Out! He got there! He made it! And Trumbull gets out of it.
Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
We will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Chris,
Connecticut leading Chinese Taipei. Back live in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. This is 1989. But in 1982, Kirkland, Washington had its greatest day. Jim McKay and Steve Stone.
I think they're one curveball away from a world championship.
That's it, it's all over. The biggest upset in the history of Little League, Kirkland, Washington, defeating the boys from Taiwan.
And the boys from Kirkland played together until last summer, and then they ran out of organized baseball and had to go their separate ways, but they stayed together for a long time. This is how the last inning ended.
Again, looking the ball into his glove, he doesn't come up with it, and you didn't remind him he wouldn't tag third. He gets him out by just about a quarter of a step. From here out, until I saw the replay, I believed, and he was right there. Glove down, maybe not quite enough, but enough to knock it down. Presence of mind to just go over and tag the bag just before the Far East runner gets in there.
Good call by Russell Sherwood at third, and the replay confirms it. There was skepticism here in the booth.
Good call by you. If you don't say all he has to do is tag third, he may not have done it.
I was probably screaming loud enough for him to hear me. Ken Martin, the first baseman, leads things off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Martin had a single to right in his second time at bat that scored 2. In right field, a substitution for Chinese Taipei, Lai-Chi Hao. Long drive, left field. Goodbye. Holy cow.
All right, put that ice back on, Jay. It's broken. I'll get you another one.
Third RBI of the game for the big first baseman, Ken Martin. 5'10", 140 pounds. He's got the size that some of the Chinese Taipei players have had in past years.
Hitting at their best, he singled between first and second on a 3-2 pitch, and then I don't know if he was looking for a breaking ball, but he got a slow curveball as we see a new pitcher come in for the Far East. Now, this is adjustment.
That was the home run that gave Trumbull, Connecticut a 5-2 lead. They get the run back that they gave up in the top of the half of the 5th inning. And now pitching for Chinese Taipei is Su-Ming Chie, as we look at Ken and Donna Martin, mom and dad of Ken, who is the batting star in this game for Trumbull.
9 home runs on the way to Williamsport. Number 1 here. Now we're seeing the 4th pitcher for the Far East.
Su-Ming Chie started the first 2 games of the World Series at third base. And he makes friends rather easily, we're told. As a matter of fact, he already has a little girlfriend here in Williamsport. That must have been from the Jim Palmer pitching clinic. Following the heroics of Cody Webster and Kirkland, Washington, Marietta, Georgia, and the East Marietta Little League came back and did it again in 1983. But there's been a drought ever since. Seoul won in 84 and 85. And then it was
we don't know what's going
Tainan
on.
Park, Hualien, Chinese Taipei, and then Taipei again last year.
The guy that was pitching is now playing shortstop.
Right.
Great. Number 2 is now playing third.
2 is
and
now
number 7 is now pitching.
in whose spot?
He's in the 7th spot where number 3 was.
So it's just position change.
Number 7.
He went in last inning on this after the game in the air.
Okay.
It's just position change.
Same people in the game?
Same people. Same people in the game. You're gonna give it.
So the changes have been recorded, and I think Tom Gallo's got it down now. So the pressure falls on number 7, Su-Ming Chie. The batter will be Chris Kelly, who replaced Andy Paul in right field. First at bat in the Little League World Series. And he comes up in a situation that maybe in his dreams he envisioned, but then that's what we've been saying on ABC's Wide World of Sports since 1963. This is really an event where dreams come true.
Again, considering what's happened over the last 20 years, is that Chinese Taipei have won 13 times. This is a dream to have a lead at this point in the game.
Strike, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Chris Kelly goes down swinging, 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. That's 1 away. Quiet moments for the manager of the Chinese Taipei team.
The manager will take a big gamble. He put his star in the semifinal game against Maracaibo, Venezuela. They won 13-0. And today, Su-Ming Lan has been playing first base. He's 0 for 3, but here's a kid that threw 73 miles per hour. They gambled, and so far they've lost.
Dan Brown, the batter, 1 ball, 1 strike. He's a sportsman of wide variety: golf, tennis, basketball, and football. Side ball 2. Called a strike. Check that. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Mario, former pitcher behind the plate with a big strike zone.
Did he go? No.
Again, look at those shadows. Going to be with a 3-run lead. Very tough for the Far East to pick up the ball as well as they did early. This is why right here you see the check swing, and he did check it.
Strike 3. And so Su-Ming Chie comes in and gets 2 strikeouts, and quickly there are 2 away. The sound and the atmosphere here in the Grove, in this valley, unlike they've been for 6 years.
Well, that's the great equalizer. Remember the old saying, Mom, I'm coming home. They're throwing me curveballs. Well, there was one. Second strikeout for the new pitcher for the Far East.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie Major League. The big guy who loves voodoo comes up and hits fastball after fastball out of the park. Coaches can't understand it. And a fly ball to left ends the inning. And then they throw some curveball as he cannot touch it. So we move to the 6th and final inning. Time now for ABC's Wide World of Sports Athlete of the Week. Is there any question who it is? It's Nolan Ryan of the Texas Rangers. We'll continue in a moment. We return you live to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, where in dramatic fashion and on an almost startling way, Trumbull, Connecticut leads the heavily favored Chinese Taipei team by a score of 5-2. I'm Al Troutwig along with Jim Palmer and Mike Adamle. They are 3 outs away from victory as we move to the top of the 6th inning. This is the year that Little League Baseball celebrates its 50th anniversary for the Little League World Series that has drawn its largest crowd in years. 40,000 people have climbed the hillsides, and I imagine right now that the streets of Trumbull are quiet.
Tom Gallo telling his third baseman Harrison to come in, make him swing the bat.
Chris Drury on the first pitch to Chang-Chi Yi lets it go back. The Chinese Taipei's 14 appearances in the final game, all 2. They have averaged over 8 runs a game. Today, 2.
Success formula for Chris Drury has been throw the ball over. Only 1 unintentional walk.
That's 2 that go to the backstop.
And now he's 3-0.
Chang is hit it 0 for 7. An incredible story, really. An insurance salesman and a roofing contractor get together, having coached separate teams all summer long, select the best players they can, and move on. Strike 1. At one point in the state tournament, they lost a game to Park City American from Bridgeport, Connecticut, 2-0. They came back and won in the double elimination 7-0. Ball 4, runner is on. But I wonder what the kids who played on that Bridgeport, Connecticut team might be thinking. The throw will go to second base, number 2.
Really, you think of it, that's a great way to communicate with your kids, and at this age, it's so important. At the Major League level, you can assume they'll know where to throw the ball. They've already pre-thought the situation. Tom Gallo.
Suming Che, the pitcher. Drury's been outside and a little tentative.
No, it's really up to him. Matt Basura, the center fielder, is the only other pitcher they have available. He's only pitched 3 innings in the entire tournament.
Fly ball left field. McGrath is under it. He's got it, 1 away. Trumbull needs 2. Runner remains at first.
What a great defensive game Trumbull, Connecticut's played. They've made only 1 error. That's on a very questionable ball off of Danny McGrath's glove in the first inning. But Drury's 1 strikeout, 1 unintentional walk. He's made him hit the ball, and they've caught it.
Right. On an inside speedster. Runs, 6 hits, 1 error. 2-5-2 for Chinese Taipei. Ground ball, foul. 2 strikes. We are running long on ABC's Wide World of Sports today. Of course, following our live coverage of this dramatic finish in the 1989 Little League World Series, local news on ABC World News Saturday over most of these same ABC stations. Count is 0-2. Chen squares the bunt, pulls it away. Did he go? Yes, he did! 2 away.
Only the second strikeout, and on a ball that's his fastball, it just kind of sails away and tries to check his swing. Unable to do it, that's the second out.
So Chris Drury, who has already won a hockey championship this year, is 1 out away. trying to follow in the footsteps of Danny Yaccarino, who for Staten Island pitched a no-hitter in 1964, which led to a ticker tape parade in Manhattan and New York City, and of Cody Webster, who batted and starred in his pitching performance in 1982. One more out. Taste it. One more strikeout for one of the great upsets in the history of Little League baseball. Ball gets away, runner goes, they're going to make the throw. Not in time. Cody Lee, with 6th inning confidence, decided to give it a shot at second. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Fly ball, deep left field. McGrath is there. It's over. Trumbull wins it.
Pitch. Chris Drury hoping, praying, and it's over. What an outstanding game for the 12-year-old.
The parents. They weren't as big. They weren't as disciplined. Some of the fundamentals they didn't do as well. What a story. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC stations for the historic moment in Williamsport. Chinese Taipei in 15 appearances had won 13 times here in Williamsport. This was the 16th, and it proved to be not for them a great day, but for Trumbull, Connecticut. Let's go to Mike Adamle on this historic victory for Trumbull.
Tom Galley, you told your team before this game started, do the kind of things that you did to get to the finals. Relax, be calm, don't lose your cool. It paid off.
You bet your life it did. I knew this team was here. I knew we were the team of destiny. I mean, it's a miracle that we were here to begin with. We had to win this game. We had to win it.
You have coached other Little League teams. What makes this group of kids so special?
You saw it on the field. They don't know how to lose. These guys don't know how to lose. They didn't care who they were playing today. They didn't care that it was Taiwan.
Okay. All right, Kenny Martin, the big home run. You look cool out there. You run to that home run trot real quick.
Yeah. It was great.
Come right in here. Thrill of a lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Drury, I was up with your parents. Chris? Where's Chris? Here. I was up with your parents in the stands. They were on the edge of the seats all game long. They kept going 9 outs away, 6 outs away, 3 outs away. Then they went wild. But you were a picture of calm and collection out on that mound.
I don't know. I just try to keep cool and let him hit it.
Your coach's theory was to keep the big guy, Shu Ming Lan, off the base pass, and you guys did a good job of doing that.
Yeah, I just got him to pop up, ground out, or whatever. Just don't let him hit it hard.
Hey, what are you guys going to do to celebrate?
Swim.
They're going to go swimming now. They've won the Little League World Series, and they're on their way to the pool. Congratulations.
All right, Mike. We're going to go swimming. First time the East team has made it to the championship game since '75. The East won then, the East won today. History has repeated. That Little League Baseball is supposed to teach you many things. How to play within a team, how to take instructions, how to lose, and in some instances, how to win. Such was the lesson learned today by Trumbull, Connecticut, pulling off one of the great upsets in the history of Little League. As Jim McKay said in 1982, it was as amazing then for Kirkland, Washington, as it is for Trumbull, Connecticut in 1989. The drought is over. The Far East has been beaten. Tomorrow on ABC Sports, see America's best amateur golfers tee it up to decide our national champion. Same-day coverage of the 1989 U.S. Amateur from the Marion Golf Club in Ardmore, Pennsylvania begins at 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific. Now stay tuned for your local news and World News Saturday over most of these ABC stations. With Mike Adamle and Jim Palmer, I'm Al Troutwig. Goodbye for now.